The following program may contain coarse language and may deal with subject matter that may not be suitable for a younger audience. Listener discretion is advised. Hello and welcome back to Weird Careers. I'm Eric.
And I'm Steve.
All around the globe, yes, it is round, people get up and head to work.
And some of those destinations stray from the norm of careers.
Everything from set decorators to succulent growers and everything in between.
Our mission is to take a deep dive on the job itself and the people in the industry about how they got there, what they do, and more.
So please join us as we take a journey around the globe and explore these weird careers. If you think that you or someone you know has a weird or interesting job, stick around to find out how you can contact us and support the show. So sit back, relax, and be prepared to learn some cool shit.
On today's episode of Weird Careers, we have Eric Terry, who you all may just know as the host of Weird Careers, and we'll be discussing his work as a budtender. How are you doing today, Eric?
I'm doing great, Steve. How are you doing?
Oh, not too bad. Just living the dream, good weekend and stuff.
It's beautiful. I'm enjoying this weather before it gets scorching hot. We've got a heat wave coming, so I'm not ready for that yet. So I'm going to enjoy this while I can.
Yeah, you're telling me it's supposed to be like, because I bike to work, right? So it's supposed to be nice in the evening, in the morning. But once evening comes, I'm like, oh, I really don't want to bike home in like 35-degree weather and high humidity.
No, I completely understand.
Alrighty. So Eric, in a nutshell, what do you do?
In a nutshell, so I am what they call a bud tender. So for those who are not listening in Canada, cannabis is legal here recreationally and medically. We're one of 7 or 8 countries in the world that are. So on the recreational side, the sales associates are called budtenders. So my job is to educate guests on cannabis, facilitate orders and stuff like that. So regular retail operations.
Okay.
And then make sure that I'm upholding all the laws, rules, and regulations, all the government stuff.
Yeah, so kind of like a lot of the stuff that would revolve around, say, like tobacco and alcohol, right?
Yep, you
like
got
that
it.
sort of thing.
Yep.
Yeah, right on. What would you say was the main catalyst or interest for you in wanting to become a budtender?
Well, that goes back to 2015.
Okay.
I had a friend at the time who introduced me to cannabis. I was having a lot of anxiety, and my friend said, "Here, try this." Oh, okay, let me try this. And as a first-time smoker, that was quite the experience. But once I start to understand what strains do what, I really started to see the medical benefits of cannabis. So the passion grew.
Right.
I first started on the farm side. I worked at a company called WeedMD, which is about 45 minutes outside of London. About 45 minutes outside of London. And I worked in cultivation. I worked in propagation. I worked in trimming, sanitation. The only thing I didn't do was packaging.
Okay. So kind of like a very introductory kind of part to the idea, right?
Yeah. So when I got out of that side of the industry, I wanted to pursue the other side. I have 20 years of retail experience, and with cannabis being such a new industry, because of my passion towards it, I just wanted to be a part of that.
That sounds very interesting, and I like the idea where you kind of started outside of like the retail aspect of it. It kind of gives you that sort of like groundwork and base knowledge towards it, right?
It really helps, especially when guests will come in and they'll ask about craft practices, which is something we can get into a little bit later.
Okay.
Um, you know, when you're educating, it's the best, in my opinion. Again, we'll get to that later. It's one of the best parts of the job.
Right. Um, so regarding like just everything for being a bud tender and like all the responsibilities and all that, what would you say is the main responsibility of a bud tender?
Um, Main responsibility of a bud tender. I mean, you're dealing with, you are dealing with the drug.
Right.
So your job is to make sure that whoever is coming through that door is looking for the experience that they walk through that door for. They want whether they want a happy buzz, whether they want something that's going to, help them with pain relief, or if it's something that they want to relax at the end of the day.
Right.
You want to make sure that you are advising them, start low, go slow,
Yep.
not to overdo it. And you want to make sure you're educating them on the product you're giving them as well, so that they also know what they're buying.
Okay. And in the form of like kind of educating like the patrons and the people coming in to buy and stuff like that. Was there any sort of like formal or informal training that you needed to do before moving into the role of a bud tender?
Yes. So through just a quick history of the legislation of cannabis first, which it ties in, I promise. So when it was legalized, October 17th, 2018, it was legalized federally. So it's now legalized through all provinces of the
Right.
country. However, our prime minister gave the delegation to the provinces on how they are going to regulate. So here in Ontario, which is my home province, we have to take what's called a CanCell.
Okay.
So it's about when I took it anyways, it was about a 4-hour course, about 70, $80. It teaches you the basics, teaches you about terpenes, teaches you about cannabinoids, growing practices, what THC does, what CBD does. It does not give you product knowledge. It just gives you the cannabis knowledge. So it's essentially, for those who do live in Ontario, it's essentially getting your smart serve, but for cannabis.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was going to ask. It sounds very similar to that.
It's quite similar.
Right on, right on. Did you find it like a little bit overwhelming to kind of take that course, or was it kind of like within your realm of like knowledge from starting in what you had started with WeedMD?
Good question. So with my experience with WeedMD, it really did help going into this course because it's stuff like that they really talked about.
Right.
And then with my own personal experience being a consumer, taking this course wasn't easy because there were still some things that I learned. So it was a walk in the park, but I was definitely a lot more comfortable taking the course.
Right on. Yeah. So basically, your prior knowledge kind of like bridged some of those gaps where it wasn't so overwhelming, but there was still a bunch of stuff where it's like, oh, I had no idea for this, and like that's good to know to learn this kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Alrighty. With your work as like a bud tender now, like doing the retail side of things, what does a typical day look like?
A typical day. So working as a bud tender, you typically do not open an open to close. So
Okay.
I'll kind of give you what an opening shift would look like and then what a closing shift would look like.
Okay.
So opening shifts, if you're a key holder, which I am, I unlock, disarm, get in the store, make sure that the cash is all there, the float is all started, make sure the product is all ready to go, make sure all the cameras are working, etc. A basic retail sales associate stuff to get started.
Right.
And then I check to see if there's any online orders to see if they need to be fulfilled. Open the store, customers start coming in. Somebody wants to buy a pre-roll, for example. So I have a display case behind me and everything's all organized into different things. So from there, what I do is I say, okay, I break it down. So it's like somebody coming into the LCBO or
Right.
like a liquor store. It's, oh, I want beer. No, which one do you want? I want beer. It's like, Okay, well, there is an entire section of beer over there. We've got imported, we've got craft, we've got lagers, we've got ales, we've got et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
You know, what are you looking for? And a lot of people forget that it's the same thing with cannabis. You come in and it's, you know, I'm looking for some weed.
Yep.
It's like, okay, well, what are you looking for? You're looking for something that leading to more like a creative side, or are we looking for something more to like chill out at the end of the night? Oh, it's all weed. It all does the same thing. And you want to sit there and face palm and shake your head. But you know that with some people, there just is no convinced. Oh, I've been smoking this stuff for 50 years. I know what this is. And all this stuff that you're telling me now is just upselling. And it's like, no, it's not. I'm the one with the certificate. I'm the one who's done the training. So people like that. And then you have people that will come in and, you know, they're asking about, you know, hey, what's the CBD stuff? You know, I've got pain here. I'm looking to sleep. You know, I've got anxiety. And then that's more of, instead of just let's get you a joint, it's like, okay, these are the different cannabinoids that are going to help you.
Right.
And these are the different products. This is the reason why these cannabinoids work. And then, you know, why it works better in this form as opposed to another form.
Yeah, so basically just trying to get the best product for what they're looking for, even though they might seem like very strong-headed or what's the word I'm looking for? Like ignorant towards the issue, but they're not like willing to easily kind of understand what you're trying to tell them.
Exactly. You know, somebody, you know, you try to explain to somebody that, you know, the difference between, you know, a $5 joint and a $15 joint is, it's like getting, you know, a bottle of liquor. You can get some really cheap, you know, tequila, and it's gonna taste like shit. It's gonna give you a hangover. You know, it's gonna get the job done. But if you get the more expensive one, it's gonna taste a lot nicer. It's gonna go down a lot smoother. You'll still have a hangover, but it's not going to be nearly as bad, and it's still going to get you that buzz you want.
Yeah, it'll just be an overall better experience for you.
Exactly. So that's exactly what I say. I don't sell products. I sell an experience.
Right.
And people will come in and sure, yeah, I'm going to upsell because I know that it's not just upselling. It's literally getting you a better product.
No, exactly. Yep.
You get what you pay for. And then, you know, we have our sales throughout the day. And now you have your relief coming in and you do a shift change, which essentially looks like you make sure that the cash matches the till so that if there is a discrepancy at the end of the day, you know where it is. You know, that person goes home. Now you've got the reins. And then you do the same thing again. You're helping guests. You know, you're cleaning up where you can if you've got the time. Basic things like that. Basic retail associate stuff.
Yep.
End of the night, because when it comes to cannabis, everything has to be locked up.
Right.
There isn't a single product that can be on a shelf that is accessible. You can get a really, really large fine for that. So everything has to be locked up. So making sure that everything is locked up at the end of the night. Everything from the way that a store is laid out. At the back of the store, typically you have what's called your vault, which carries all of your cannabis products.
Right.
You are the budtenders and the managers, the only associates are the only people that can go into this vault. Typically, the only people that see this vault. It's where you keep all of your product, and that door is to be locked at all times.
Okay, and with the stuff that's locked up, like, do you find that there's ever like random inspections kind of thing to make sure you're following those protocols, or not really?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So there is an agency called the AGCO, which is the Alcohol and Gaming Commissions of Ontario, and it's those laws, those regulations that we have to adhere to, and they will send in a representative, or they will send in a secret shopper, and they will essentially come back with a report saying whether we passed, whether we failed, if there was any rule breaking. Depending on what they find, it can be everything from okay, you're good to go, everything looks great, to we're shutting your store down.
Oh, wow.
and everything in between. The penalties for not adhering to the laws and regulations are quite substantial.
Yeah, and I'm assuming that it's like if it's like a first time offense, it would depend on how egregious that offense is, would be like determining what the action would be taken against, right?
You would be surprised, actually. So,
Really?
because it's a drug and like it's not alcohol, alcohol has been mainstream for,
Oh, forever.
if I'm doing my math correctly, about 80 years now.
Yep.
It's been regulated in Canada, and so a lot of those rules and regulations have laxed.
Okay.
Right? You can bring your kid into a store. You can advertise everywhere. You drive around places in Canada, you don't see a cannabis ad. You can't bring your kids into the store. It was just recently that they could get rid of the blackout or the frost on their windows.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's very, very recent. So for example, let's say somebody comes into the store and they don't have their ID, but they look like they're really young.
Yep.
This is a very, very common thing in the budtender industry. Same with the bar scene. It happens all the time. However, the consequences for us in the cannabis industry are a lot more severe.
Right.
Somebody comes in, because now if I ask, can I see your ID? The camera has now already seen that I have asked you for your ID. This person now is legally obligated to show me their ID.
Right.
No matter who they are now legally obligated to show me. Well, I don't have my ID. Oh, I have a picture of it on my phone. Well, I can't take a picture because I can't check the security features of your ID. I can't see that. Well, I know the manager. The manager knows me. Oh, well, I have an account here, and it's like I can't let you in. I don't know who you are.
Yep.
No, or I don't recognize you. I cannot let you in by law. Well, buddy lets me in all the time. I'm like, I'm sorry, but unless you have your ID, I can't let you in.
Yep.
The consequence. First of all, pardon me. I am subject up to a $10,000 fine.
Oof.
The store is subjected to up to $1 million fine.
Wow.
The store is also subjected to a potential closure for 2 weeks pending an AGCO investigation.
Right.
That budtender's license is revoked. They cannot get that license ever again and are completely blacklisted from the industry completely.
That's crazy.
It is. So when someone tells me, "Oh, just let me in,"
yeah,
I explain that to them. I'm like, it is not worth losing my license.
Yep.
And I don't have 10 grand. That's one of the biggest laws that they come into. That's one of the biggest laws that they have to enforce. It's one of the biggest ones that the budtenders have to enforce.
Right.
Another one is you can only sell so much to a customer at a certain time. You can only sell 30 grams at a time. That's your travel limit. So naturally, getting to the store and home, you can only carry 30 grams on you at a time. That is your purchase limit.
Right.
So we have to adhere to that. We can't just be like, oh yeah, I'll scan your 30 grams and then I'll ring you in again and scan your other thing. You can't do that.
Yep.
Because the AGCO people, they will come in, they will regularly check the cameras to make sure that you're following all of the rules. And the thing is also people can actually call in anonymously to the AGCO, make complaints, and then they will pop in with an investigation, and the store does not get prior warning.
Right.
So the consequences are severe, which is understandable because you are dealing with a drug.
Yeah, like a controlled product.
Exactly.
Wow, that's a lot to really take in and to like really kind of like wrap your head around for just outside of just being a bud tender, all the other kind of legal consequences that could happen to you.
There's a lot. I could go on and on and on about all the different rules and regulations that we have to adhere to on a daily basis because there is a lot.
Right. Now, I am curious.
Mhm.
Was there anything about the position of being a bud tender that surprised you after you started?
Yes. Product knowledge.
Mm.
So, especially because I came into the bud tending industry, I came into the retail side of things a little bit later.
Right.
I had to learn about a lot more companies.
Okay. Okay.
I had to learn about different products. I had to learn. So let me give you an example.
Yep.
So it's a lot easier to do. Pre-rolls. Let's just take the category of pre-rolls for a second.
Yep.
So you have different size packs, you have different pack sizes. So I can get a single half-gram joint. I could get a single 1 gram joint. I could get 2 1 gram joints in a pack.
Yep.
I can get 3 half-grams. I can get 5 half-grams. I can get 10 half-grams. I can get, a king pack of, I don't remember what the number is, but it's essentially like getting like a carton
Right.
of joints. And that's just regular joints. And that's just pack size. Now you get into different brands. And you've got dozens and dozens and dozens of different brands. And then you have to know, okay, which ones are an indica, which ones are a hybrid, which ones are a sativa, what strains are what.
Right.
And then people will ask you about lineage. People will ask you about terpenes. People will ask you about cannabinoids. People will say, oh, I'm looking for something that tastes like this. I'm looking for something that has this terpene profile. And then you just get overwhelmed.
Yeah. I'm assuming there's also like hybrid breeds as well, right?
There is everything. Literally, if you can think of it, it is sold in a store. Everything from flower concentrates, topicals, vaporizers, hash,
Yep.
live resin, rosin, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like, I've seen inhalers.
Right.
Like, they literally look like asthma inhalers, but they have THC in them.
Oh, wow.
You know how they have the chewing tobacco, you'd put it like in your lip and you would,
Yep.
right? They have something like that for cannabis. It's called a chillo.
Wow.
They are not a sponsor for this episode. So learning all the different products and then knowing which companies are better than the other, which companies have craft practices, and then which companies are craft certified.
Right.
What companies are more like the Walmart of weed, and what companies are more the really tight, really high quality, organic mom pop kind of idea. Knowing
Okay.
the difference between the two, the different levels of quality, and that's just pre-rolls without infusion. That's
Right,
just
right.
straight weed. And now you get into infused pre-rolls, which they have hash, they have live resin, they have
Yep.
distillate, keef, liquid diamonds, crushed diamonds, and you have to know which one's which one's better. And you have that overwhelming feeling of, holy shit, this is a lot of information. How the fuck am I ever going to absorb all of this?
Yep. Like, it's a very daunting task.
It is. Once like, especially getting into it. I worked at a dispensary in Port Colborne, and there was a new guy that came in. His first day as a bud tender, like first day as a bud tender, period.
Right.
He was absolutely swarmed because it was like a holiday, or or some kind of festival in the little town that day. And like I said to him, I was like, how, like, are you, like, I got in, I'm like, are you okay? Because I can understand how overwhelming this can be. There is so much to learn. He's like, yeah, it was stressful.
Yep.
But
like,
once
literally thrown into the fire.
literally. And you couldn't smoke it after, which is the really disappointing part.
Yep.
But once you start to understand what's good, what's what lineage is what, and you start to gather that knowledge, especially if it's something you're really passionate about, it's something that just sticks. It sinks in and it doesn't go anywhere. And then you can talk to people about this, which is the education part.
Yep.
Is one of the biggest parts of the job.
That's really good to know. With all of the many, I guess, like styles of how you can use it recreationally, like be it like flower, pre-roll, like rosin resin,
Mhm.
anything like that. Do you have like a preferred method that you like?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. I'm a bong guy.
Oh yeah.
I like to get my craft flower. I'm huge on terpenes, huge on cannabinoids. I always say I don't sell shit weed.
Yep.
I don't sell weed that I won't buy.
Right.
Um, so I like the bong. It's a quick hit. It's a long lasting hit if you've got good cannabis. Um, and luckily for me, because I do community theater and I have done that for about 20 years, my lungs are trained as a singer.
Yep.
So I can actually literally take the skills of being a singer and translate them into bong smoking, and I know how to breathe properly. So I'm going to be 36 and can still hit a bong quite successfully.
Nice. That's very one kind of like transferable skill I would have never thought to combine the two with.
Yeah, most people don't. Most people don't figure that out. They're like, "Oh, I'd never thought of it that way." But aha, yes. Use your diaphragm. You can get a lot more weed in your lungs than you can go, right?
So Eric, when you had mentioned before about like working with the public and like trying to find the best kind of solution for whatever someone's looking for in the terms of being a bud tender, do you find that working with the public is a little bit more difficult as a bud tender versus a more generalized, like quote unquote normal retail position?
Yes and no. Specialized retail is always going to be a little bit different as opposed to, let's say, working at Walmart.
Right.
I've worked at a Best Buy and I've worked Budtender. That's actually how you and I met, was working at Best Buy.
Yep.
Which would be considered specialized retail because it specializes in home electronics, smart technology, computers, etc. So there are different vibes. Typically, people who are coming into these stores know what they're getting and are excited to be there.
Right.
Typically. I've been doing retail for 20 years. Always somebody.
Yep.
However, like with computers, you would have a lot more people coming in with problems, errors. You fucked up my computer. No, I didn't. Yes, you did. No, I didn't. There's a virus. That's your fucking fault. Take accountability. Stuff like that. So like when it comes to technology, you get a little bit more of the uglier side of humanity.
Right.
Whereas when you come into a dispensary, one of the things that the government has yet to understand about cannabis is the community surrounding it. So it's not just, I'm a stoner, I'm going to go to the weed shop,
Yep.
and I'm going to get my shit and I'm going to get high. No. The cannabis community is very community-based. A lot of the times I will enjoy smoking, I will enjoy consuming when other people are consuming around me. People coming into the store, and more than a Best Buy, people coming into the store are generally happy. And if they're not happy coming in, they're certainly going to be happy leaving because they're going to have a product that's going to make them happy.
Yep.
So typically people coming into a pot shop aren't difficult. With that being said,
There's always the one, right?
I find it's actually more of a demographic.
Oh, okay.
I would say a lot of people who were consuming in the 60s and 70s can sometimes seem to have a bit of a superiority complex.
Okay.
And I mentioned this earlier, you're trying to educate these people and they think you're just trying to upsell them and make them spend more money. And it's like, oh, I am trying to educate you. You came in and here's a good example. let me get you an example. Somebody comes in and they say, you give me the highest THC you got. My question normally is, why are we looking for a really high THC product? It's like, oh, well, it's the only stuff that gets me high nowadays is the really high THC stuff. And then I'll try to explain cannabinoids and terpenes. For those people who don't know what cannabinoids and terpenes are terpenes are what give every single botanical on this planet their flavor profile and their scent profile. Every single botanical on the planet. That's something we can get into a little bit later as well. And then trying to tell these people that by switching the terpene profile up on a cannabis strain
Yep.
will actually help more than just getting a higher THC percentage. Like, no, you're just trying to sell me. I've been doing this shit for 50 years. And it's like, but dude, I literally have the certification that says I know my shit.
Yep.
So those are really the only people that you get complaints from, or if there's a product that comes back, that can be tricky because from a store level, you can't take returns if it's been open, with the exception of a vaporizer because they're mass produced and it's technology based. You're
Right.
bound to get some lemons. Otherwise, this retail store cannot handle returns.
Yeah.
All of that is done through the manufacturer.
Mm.
So if, let's say, I got a bag of moldy weed, I
Yep.
can't go to the store and say, take this back. I want to return this. I want a refund. It is already open. I have no idea what you have done with this since you got home. I
Yep.
have no idea what you have done. On every cannabis package, it'll have a contact info. Contact the LP at this email, send them a photo,
Yep.
let them know what's going on. They can take care of you. I can't take care of you on a store level. Those are really the only two things that I would say bud tenders have problems with air
Right.
quotes. Everything else, it's a community. People are coming in, they're pretty happy. And like I said, if they're not coming in happy, they have a product that's going to now make their day and they're going to be leaving happy.
Yeah, generally like a lot of like camaraderie and just like helpfulness and just kind of
Absolutely.
like community there.
100%.
Nice.
Before we really roll out the details, we're going to take a quick break. Grab a coffee, snack, smoke, and/or pee break. Don't turn that dial. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Weird Careers. We have Eric Terry here. How are you doing? How's everything going here?
Good. I've got my coffee and
Nice.
I am ready to go.
Awesome. So from how we were talking before the break, for like difficult people or anything like that,
Yeah.
have you ever been asked a question about the product that was just so bizarre that you weren't exactly sure how to respond?
Yeah. One of my favorite things is that people sometimes forget that they're purchasing a plant.
Right.
And so people are often wonder, I've been looking for this everywhere. Why can't I find it? It's because it's not done growing yet. It still needs to grow. Yeah. So I can't get you more because it's still at the farm.
Yeah, unfortunately, you can't manipulate time.
No. So that's probably one of the most bizarre questions. It's because it's a flower.
Right.
It's literally a flower that needs to grow. It takes, let's see, if I were to start by seed, I have to start in March, and then it's harvested in October. So let's use our fingers because we can't math. April,
8
May,
months?
June, July, August, September, October. Yeah, 7 to 8 months
Dang.
to fully to get a fully mature plant.
Right.
So sometimes they're just not done growing yet, or they're in between lots, and that's when people get really upset because it's, oh, I finally found something that I really liked, and now they're discontinuing it. It's like, yeah, well, that's welcome to the market. Welcome to the industry.
Yeah, I feel like that's not just with like the cannabis industry. That's kind of everywhere, right?
Yeah. Or another one is, why is it so much more expensive here than at the res? Why do I get, higher THC stuff at the res than I do here? And it's one thing that people don't realize when it comes to cannabis and regulation is because it's regulated by the government, you know what's going into your product.
Yep.
I forgot to get that jar. I forgot to get that jar. Because that really helps with this part.
Do you want to go grab it quick?
I do want to go grab it quick. Give me 1 sec. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
I grabbed an empty one so that it wouldn't stink up the house.
Nice, nice.
So because it's regulated, you know what's in your what's in your weed. For example, I am looking at this government regulated product. So by this sticker here tells you that it has been inspected, it has gone through quality check, etc., etc. It tells you everything you need to know on the front, and because it's government regulated, this stuff is always checked on. So if you look at the packaging on the front, it has your strain, terpenes, how much THC, how much CBD is in it,
Right.
how much is in it, who made it. Sometimes, so depending on the maker, they'll even have like a breakdown of how many terpenes are in the back, how it was grown, where it was grown. This one actually tells you what the lineage is, weight. This one doesn't get too detailed, but it does give you the lineage at the top there, and then it just tells you the package.
Okay.
What's in the package, and then what they have to do. Like I was telling you earlier, that information, that email address. So every single cannabis product will have something like this, where you can call or you can send an email if something's going on, whether they're doing something great, whether there's an issue, you go there. Another thing that they absolutely have to have on these packaging is their lot and package date number.
Right.
So what the lot number would be, it's essentially your batch number.
Yeah.
So whatever the room is, whatever that batch happens to be, so they can go back and check records and stuff. And then your package date. Your package date is really important because that's when you know how old it is.
Yep. So
I can't remember when I opened this, but it was quite fresh because this was packaged on April the 27th.
Nice, nice.
So you know what's in it.
Yep.
And for somebody who has worked on the other side and has worked on the farms, I can promise you, because I've seen it, they adhere to all of those regulations. So you know what's going in your cannabis. You know that there's not additives. You know that when an edible is made, it's not all going to be in one square.
Yep. Imagine.
And you know there's no pesticides. And
yeah.
That's the difference. So if you let's say you buy a chocolate bar at the res.
Yep.
All the THC, because they're making it by hand, it could be like in one quarter of the batch than it is over here. So you would literally have stronger pieces than others. Whereas if you get it manufactured through a government regulated agency, each individual piece is exactly how it's supposed to be.
Nice.
So that's what's great about that. So trying to explain that to people is also challenging.
Yeah.
So those are, like I said, those are really the only challenging people. Is that the question that we're on? Talking about challenging? Yeah. No, bizarre question.
Yeah. And I feel like with a lot of like what you had said that's on the packaging there for like lot numbers, batch numbers, like date it was packaged and stuff, it's kind of like standard practice with a lot of like food and drink as well. So it's like if there's ever like say like a contaminated batch for whatever, they can track it to a specific batch number and then contact whichever stores would have received that as like a potential recall or anything like that, right?
And it is those exact regulations that the cannabis industry follows, is those food regulations, food and beverage regulations. They are the exact regulations that they have to adhere to on the farm. So, for example, if they go through a harvest, anything that falls onto the floor, automatically waste.
Right.
Automatically. If there is a pest, that room is quarantined, and then it'll be sent to make oils or something where the cannabis can be extracted without the pesticides.
Yep.
So all of that stuff is adhered to on the back end, which is one of the benefits of that. And again, like trying to explain that to people. Trying
to get the concepts to kind of click, right?
Exactly. So yeah. Yeah.
So moving on kind of like within that same I guess like sort of train of thought, but not exactly. What would you say is the best thing about being a budtender?
There's two.
Okay.
The samples. the samples first and foremost. You get a lot of free swag, you get a lot of free shit.
Yep.
A lot of stuff comes out before you hit the market. I actually am lucky to, in a few weeks I'm going to this event in Toronto. It's a Budtender only event.
Ooh, nice.
Where you get to go try out new products, you get some swag, you get to keep products. I remember the last time I went, I came home with about $600 worth of product.
Oh, wow.
And these are Budtender only events. So it's us retailers who go to these exclusive events and learn all about the stuff.
Right.
That's one of my favorite perks. But it's not my favorite perk. My favorite perk is actually not what you think it would be. It's not the store discount. It's not the swag. It's not the free stuff. It's educating.
Right.
I absolutely love educating and destigmatizing cannabis.
Yep.
People think...
Do you find a lot of people think of it as still as like the devil's lettuce and it's like an evil kind of thing?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Which is unfortunate because it's like, it's legal.
Yep.
It's legalized. Like, we've done so much research. We've come so far in the cannabis industry, considering that the only reason that it was criminalized was because the United States was trying to crack down on immigration.
Yep.
That's literally the only reason why cannabis was criminalized. And then the world just kind of, as they normally do, well, up until recently, because, politics and stuff,
Yep.
Followed the lead of the United States. So that's what happened with cannabis as well. The U.S. criminalized it, and then the rest of the world followed suit. And it was all, and here's the fun thing, that was done in the 1930s. It
Yep.
wasn't criminalized until the 1930s. So it hasn't even been a century since it was criminalized. And now it's legalized, and because it's legalized again, there is so much more research being done into it. We're finding cannabinoids we didn't even know existed.
Right.
We're finding new
Like use cases and stuff.
Sorry?
Like new use cases and stuff for it.
Exactly. New wellness benefits.
Right.
And different ways of extraction, different ways of making things better, it's because it's legalized now. There is just so much more to educate people on. And it's those people, oh, you're smoking the devil's lettuce, I would never consume. And it's like, but let me tell you how many people it helps.
Right.
There is a product out there. Here's a really good example. It's called Rick Simpson oil, or RSO.
Okay.
Rick Simpson oil was formulated by a Canadian named Rick Simpson.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
Yep.
And it was formulated to help cancer patients who were going through chemo.
Okay.
And I hope the government doesn't find me for saying this, but we'll see. What he found was actually one of the adverse effects was there were a lot of cases where it was curing their cancer.
Oh, okay.
Rick Simpson oil. This is a product you can actually go into a cannabis store right now and purchase. Normally for about $30.
Right.
And this is something that would not be if we didn't have the legality and the research available that we do now. And being able to share that, helping destigmatize it. And I have, with several guests, explained benefits. I've done it with my parents, for Christ's sake, tried to explain the benefits of cannabis. And now my mom is a regular consumer it helps with her sleep. It helps with her pain.
Right on.
My dog takes hemp oil for his anxiety, for God's sake. Like, the uses are, there's so many uses for it, and to be able to help people that's the best part.
Right on.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty dope. Pun intended.
So yeah, it's literally dope, my friend. It's literally dope.
Now, So with all that being said about the best thing for being a bud tender, would you say that there's any sort of like downside, or if there's a biggest downside towards that?
There's a couple. One of them being pay.
Being what, sorry?
Pay being financial compensation. So first of all, your company is not going to pay for your cancel. That is
Right.
something you have to pay out of pocket. That's an $80 fee that you have to do yourself. The other thing being, when the industry first started and bud tenders were first getting into the industry, they were better compensated than your average retail employee, making several dollars more an hour because of all the training that you need, all of the information that you have to hold in your brain.
Yep.
Budtenders were being paid more, which understandably so, because they need to know more. They're dealing with a government regulated product, laws and rules and regulations that we have to adhere to because of said product. And now, budtenders are making minimum wage,
Right.
and
And
it's
we all kind of
something.
know where that stands. It's not the
Yeah,
best.
it's especially in a specialized industry like this where, in order to be good at the job, you need to consume the product. You should be paying your budtenders more so that they're able to gain that knowledge.
Yep.
They should be getting paid more because we should be getting paid more, rather, because we have to deal with essentially narcotics.
Right.
We're dealing with a controlled substance. We are dealing with, it is someone's essentially life is in my hands. So somebody's mental well-being is in my hands, and that can come back on me. And my conscience can't live with something like that.
Right.
But here's the thing: there's so many budtenders that, because it's minimum wage now, and people just want to get into it because it's like, free weed.
Yep.
People don't try to take the proper care they're supposed to because it's a minimum wage job. They don't give a shit.
Yep.
They just think it's fun to be able to work in a pot shop where you got somebody like me who goes that extra mile.
Yeah.
Because they want to do the destigmatizing. There is that passion there. It's not always there, and that's why there's the lack of compensation, and because companies are just getting cheap.
Yeah.
So that's one. And the other is just the pushback for ID. People coming in and expecting you to just let them in because you can just let me in. It's like, no, I can't. The arguments, Steve, that I have gotten into with people.
Now hold on. I'm going to guess one of them. But I can go
Okay.
into an LCBO without getting ID'd.
Yep. That's one of them. That's one of them. Well, I can bring my kid into the LCBO. Why can't I bring my kid in here? That one I disagree with. I'm 100% on their side. You should be able to bring your child into a pot shop.
Yeah.
That's just my... Plants are better than alcohol, but that is an entirely other conversation that we could spend hours talking about. But people just trying to understand the regulations and that you're not trying to be an ass.
Yeah.
That you're trying to save your ass. You're trying to cover your ass. And breaking these rules is not worth the risk.
Right.
In my books anyways, it's really not worth the risk if it's something that you are really passionate about. So it's people just not respecting that, not respecting the regulations and why the regulations are there.
Right. Yeah, just kind of like the misunderstanding of how things are run in this particular sort of industry, even though it is kind of like on the same similarities as like a beer store, LCBO, or any other sort of like controlled substance. It's not going to be the same sort of like day-to-day kind of thing. Like you have to follow those rules. And
Exactly.
I guess maybe like with it being like keep going forward as it's been legalized, like maybe that we'll see more and more people understand how it runs as opposed to say like 5 years ago, 10 years ago kind of thing.
Exactly. And that's something that I also try to explain to people. When the prohibition ended, it took decades for them to get to the regulation that we're at now.
Yep.
Like decades. It started out as, mom pop shops, mom pop liquor stores.
Yeah.
And then it became, at least here in Ontario, it came the LCBO. So every liquor store was governed under the LCBO. Now you can get it at Walmart and corner stores and shit, and I'm not gonna touch that because again, that's an entirely different conversation.
Yep.
And it took decades to get to that regulation. It took decades for them to get a union. It took decades to get to where they are with everything, with the rules. No, I cannot sell you an unlimited amount of weed. I can't do that. As much as I would absolutely love to be able to do that for you, I can't. I cannot do that for you. Why? Because the rules say so, and I'm just following the rules.
Exactly.
Well, what about the res? I'm not the res. It would be nice. Well, what about these rules? I'm like, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to side with you. The rules don't make sense. Some of the rules don't make sense. With that being said, though, because I've been in the industry as long as I have been, seeing those regulations change over time. It started out you can only buy 5 beverages at a time. Now you can buy up to 50 depending on how much THC is in each drink. 50. You can only buy 5, and now it's 50. People would complain that they would get like one of those cardboard 6-packs that you can fill, and they'd be pissed off because you can only put 5 in it. So it used to be in one package, you can only have 10 milligrams of THC in one package.
Right.
Now it's 100.
Oof.
Now it's 100 milligrams per package, and now you've got 10 milligram gummies, and there's 10 of those. Taking the frost off of the windows and stuff like that. These are things that weren't in place when it was first legalized, and you're now starting to see this stuff getting bigger. Another thing is, the package that I showed you isn't a very good example, but you've got transparent packaging now, where you're actually able to see into the product where you couldn't before. That's another recent legislation change. And trying to explain to people, it's happening. The changes are happening. The government is listening. They are making these changes, but these changes just don't happen overnight.
Yeah, and it's a government. It's going to take a while for anything to change, like significantly.
Exactly. And this is one of those industries, because it's like this industry is literally in its infancy. You gotta wait for it to grow in order for it to be where you want it to be. Stick with it, because eventually you're gonna see stuff like this with the LCBO, like it is with the LCBO. You're gonna start seeing that in cannabis stores as well.
Right.
Patience, young Padawan. Patience.
Now, it's been awesome hearing about everything that you do and have learned everything for being a budtender. But what does life look like outside of work for you? And I guess outside of this podcast as well, because we all know you from the podcast.
Outside of the podcast. Podcast is a big part of my life. The show's been a really big part of my life for the last 6 years. But I mean, you've all heard about that, so I'm not going to bore you. I am a dad of 2 and, stepdad to 3.
Nice.
I've been in community theater for almost 20 years. Started in high school, and I'm actually just got into a new production of Joseph in the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Ooh, nice.
However, I have an audition tomorrow for Avenue Q.
Oh, that's sick.
So if I get into Avenue Q, we are going to take that show over Joseph, because we've already done Joseph.
Now with all of these shows, like the Joseph one and potentially Avenue Q, is that like through local, like within London, or is that like Greater London area kind of thing?
Greater London area. So this one's out of Woodstock. Okay. I do community. That's normally about as far as I will go for community theater, because that's
right.
It's a long drive. There are certain exceptions. This is a bucket list show. Q? It's a little, it's a little bit. It's just a little bit outside of where, like, how much driving I wanted to do. But it's one of those shows that it doesn't come around often, and when it does, you got to just do it. And I've been wanting to do this show for the better part of a decade, and the fact that it's coming to not just like locally, but to a really conservative town, I can't fucking wait to see the reaction. Even if I'm just in the audience, I can't, because I will put such a big smile on my face. I'm a streamer, so I video games.
How often do you do the streaming? Or I guess like ideally,
it's a little bit less off. Ideally, I try to do it a few times a week. With the summer starting, kiddos being home
Yeah.
from school, it's going to be less. But I try to do it as often as I can. You know, I do have this really
Yep.
kick-ass setup. Not gonna lie. But yeah, that's me outside the show. You know, I have a wonderful partner, and you know her wonderful kids who I see on a regular basis, which is wonderful. I see my two
Nice,
kids on
nice.
a regular basis, which is wonderful. I For those who don't know, I met Steve working at Best Buy 9 years ago, and we've stayed in
Yep.
touch ever since. So we go
Yeah,
back
and it
quite
was
a
always
ways.
a really crappy day at Best Buy
And
whenever Eric wasn't working and I was in. Or I'm assuming vice versa as well.
I heard that. I've heard yes. I always anytime you were in, I was always happy. And then you know I'm a consumer. I'm what the kids
Yep.
would call a stoner. I'm what I like to call a
Nice.
functional stoner. There is a difference. Yeah, I've got hopefully some good things coming up with the show. That I really hope that I can share with y'all soon.
And definitely looking forward to hearing more.
Oh, I do
yep.
cosplay. I forgot. I do cosplay. I do that too. I've been doing cosplay for 9 years. I cosplay as Spider-Man. I
Nice,
do
nice,
birthday
nice.
parties. I do like parades. Sometimes I just put a suit on and go for a walk just because I can. I've got about a dozen
Now,
different
do you do
suits.
like conventions as well?
So
Or like at least like dress up?
if they're in the budget,
Yep.
yes. Cons have gotten really expensive
yeah.
over the last
Yep.
10 years. So, especially as like a panelist, not a panelist, but like as a vendor, it's
Yep.
gotten really expensive. And then it's just gotten even more expensive for someone who just wants to go, and not only just for admissions, but everything
Right.
you do there has a cost. So it's normally, if it's in the cards, I normally try and make room for it, because cosplay is so much fun. It's just so much fun to be somebody else for a little bit, and to be able to get the smiles that you get off of these kids' faces. It's just it's so precious. I mean, if I was a kid and Spider-Man walked into my backyard, I would have been over the moon.
Like just completely floored at it.
That would have made my fucking year. And I want to emulate that for other people. I want other kids to be able to
Now,
get
question.
that feeling as well.
Do you hide your superhero identity from your kids and stepkids? Like, do you do your own Peter Parker kind of thing?
I tried. It didn't last very long because kids are a lot more observant than
Yep.
people give them credit for. So it only lasted so long. But all of the stuff is kind of hidden in the
Right.
back of the closet, so that it's not like in the forefront, so people can't just randomly
Yep.
ask me to throw a suit on. But yeah, that's been a big part of my life for the last 10 years. I do stuff like I've done
Yep.
children's hospital stuff. It's
Nice.
been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's phenomenal to hear.
I love it.
So
Thank you.
we're coming up to the last little bit of the interview here with you, Eric. And I know you know what question is coming up, because we ask everyone, and
I
this is the
do.
one time you don't get to ask it.
This is the only time that I haven't
Um,
asked it, so I'm. This is going to
What
be
did
interesting.
you want to be when you grew up?
Well, it changed a lot. I think the first thing I wanted to be when I grew up was an astronaut,
Nice.
and then it was a magician,
Yep.
and then it was a teacher, and then, believe it or not, for the longest time I actually wanted to be a priest.
Oh, really?
And then I realized I couldn't get married, and then that went out the window. But the one that sticks to me the most, Steve, is I wanted to be a journalist.
Oh, nice. And I can definitely see the similarities to the podcast and that kind of that line of work there.
When I was a kid, my dad had like a little camcorder, and he would like drop like the weather board, and we would do like little news segments. I had hosted it, so it was a lot of fun. I loved it so much as a kid, and I always loved all the behind the scenes stuff. And I always wanted to host my own show.
Right.
And 25 years later, it's essentially telling people that it's the tagline at the end of the show. Follow your dreams. It's possible. You put the work into it.
Yep.
You really truly can. It might take you a couple decades to get there, but if you put the work in, if you have that passion, you have that drive, just go for it.
Yep.
Don't let anybody stop you. Don't let anything stop you. The universe works in mysterious ways. If you have a passion and you go for it, and you put if you manifest that you're gonna go far with this thing, the universe will give you what you're looking for.
Right.
Doesn't mean you don't have to work for it.
Yep.
You still got to work for it. But yeah, follow your dreams. You can be anything you want, and doing this show is what taught me that.
Nice.
The moment I can recall the moment that it hit me. It was London Comic Con 2023. I had the once in a lifetime opportunity to sit down with Kevin Clash, who is the original voice and puppeteer of Elmo.
Oh, nice.
And I don't remember much of the interview because it was a very fly on the wall experience, and I was just so flabbergasted with everything that was happening that I kind of just went on autopilot.
Right.
But at the beginning when I'm introducing him, I introduced him. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage 27 daytime and nighttime prime time, whatever, Emmy Award, Kevin Clash. He comes on, thank you, but it's actually 28. My daughter is keeping track so that when I die, she can sell them on eBay. And it was surreal because you have this man who comes out like this. This is how he talks, and yet somehow this is the voice that comes out of his head. And it's like, how does that happen? How does that voice come out of that? It's so strange. But I remember, and I saying after that, I was like, Mr. Clash, I just want to personally thank you so much. This has been 25 years. This moment has been 25 years in the making. When I was 8 years old, I wanted to be a journalist.
Yep.
And here I am now, the highlight of where you can't really get much more of a highlight than Elmo. And I want to thank you for this wonderful opportunity. Yep. And it was at that moment that I realized that I was doing what I wanted to be doing since I was a kid.
Yeah, and everything kind of connected, right? It
hit really hard, which sucked because I had to do another interview right after that, which was also fun. I got to talk to Mindy Sterling.
Oh, nice. Who
played Frau in Austin Powers.
Yep.
She is the tiniest little thing. she's got to be 5 foot nothing. And she's just this tiny, tiny little thing, and she is just a bundle of joy.
Yep.
Absolute bundle of joy. She's an absolute sweetheart. And I had to somehow compose myself in 10 minutes between interviews because I'm so emotional that I can't believe that all of this is happening.
Yep.
And then still had to run with that interview as well. But unfortunately, because of the writers and actors strike at the time, the interview was not recorded. Got lots of photos, but got no audio, unfortunately.
It's just an interview for you.
Yes,
essentially, right?
It was great because my family was there.
Yep.
My kids were there to see it.
Nice.
My dad had come as well, so I had a lot of support in the audience as well. It was great seeing myself come full circle from when I was 8, and here I am.
That's awesome.
Doing the same thing. It's not the job yet, but it's.
You're well on your way though.
We've got some stuff on the back burner. We got some stuff cooking. I can't wait to share it.
Yeah, agreed. Well, this has been an awesome interview and talk with you, Eric. It's been great to learn more about just like what a budtender is. It's been great to learn more about like your backstory and a lot of stuff that you're into that I didn't necessarily know a whole lot about overall. But it's been phenomenal being able to interview.
Oh, thanks so much, Steve. It's been a treat to be able to tell my story and to, allow our listeners to get a little glimpse behind the curtain. No, this has been absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much. It's been great.
Yeah, no, thanks for bringing this up, this idea up. Yeah, I look forward to doing more interviews with you.
Yeah, you're gonna have fun editing now.
Oh yeah.
Thanks so much for listening. Have you ever thought about your career? Do you think it would be worth a chat with us? If you think that you or someone you know may have a weird career, shoot us an email at weirdcareerspodcast@gmail.com. You may be surprised just how interesting your job is. You can also support us on buymeacoffee.com, and for $9 a month, you can get early access to episodes, sitting in on interviews, behind the scenes access, and much more. It's cheaper than most streaming services, and you're supporting local and small businesses. Donations are never expected, but are always appreciated. Oh, and don't forget to follow us on the socials, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at Weird Careers Podcast. Until next time, I'm Eric, and remember to follow your dreams.